What's up, guys? It's Alicia Peen, your career coach, and this is how to get the perfect resume in 3 steps. So first, I'm going to show you guys my actual portfolio. I am a huge fan of portfolios when it comes to interviewing because it's one thing to just walk in with your resume and that's it, but my portfolio is like an ode to all of the things that I've done, and it houses my professional experience, performance reviews, good ones, my education, there's transcripts, there's articles that I've written, there's memberships to different organizations that I'm a part of, there's also coursework that's relevant to my industry, as well as different training certificates, and there's my most recent book, Get Hired. There's also my career planner. And so these are just some templates to show for my particular field of workforce development, to show the things that I've done in that field. But anyway, this is about getting the perfect resume. And so when it comes to creating the perfect resume, I always start with the paper. Now, do you hear that? That's weighted paper. So you want to make sure that the paper that you're using to print your resume is good paper. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's not that serious. But if you are trying to establish yourself as a professional, you want to make sure that you're using good paper. Now, if you're just going on random interviews and you're not really specific about where you're going and what you're doing, then you're probably just like, I'll print it on regular white paper. And some people get hired on regular white paper, but most of us, we get hired on this good paper. Okay, so let's start there. And so it leaves a good impression on the recruiter as well, especially when you're going in for the interview. Obviously, if you're uploading it online, it doesn't matter. But when you're going in for the interview, I would recommend having some really good paper because it just establishes you as a professional and it shows that you take your professional life seriously. So let's get into it. Okay, so step 1 is definitely, of course, having your personal information readily available. Of course, you have your name, your address, your contact information. Some people do not include their information as far as their home address for discriminatory reasons and things like that. I mean, use your discretion at including that information. However, those are basic things that you want to have on your resume. You also want to have a list of your skills. It does not have to be in this template. There's so many templates available that you can use, but we're talking about basic information that goes on your resume. So you have your contact information, you have your skills, you have relevant skills to your industry. Don't just go putting anything. I know how to turn the computer on, like random skills that nobody cares about. Like, you want to be very industry specific when you're listing your skills. And so you also want to put any organizations, any chapters, any community things that you're a part of. You want to list that as well because it shows your dedication to your industry, to your field, to your craft, to your profession. So you want to definitely make sure you are listing those things. And I know a lot of people have a lot of experience and a lot of different things that they're doing, and it's very hard to fit it on one page or maybe 2 for some people. But you want to kind of pick a template that will house everything that it is that you need to communicate to a recruiter when you are applying for a job. Okay, so step 2 is working on your professional summary. Now, your professional summary should be a combination of who you are, what you do, what you have done, how that has made a difference, and a little bit of your elevator speech all wrapped up into a couple sentences. And I know that may be hard to do for some people who are jack of all trades or Jill of all trades. So you want to get that detail into your professional summary so that you can tell someone in a few sentences or less who you are and why they should care. And so that kind of brings them into the rest of your experience, which will include your education and your work experience, which is step 3. So when it comes to your education, a lot of people have the question, should I list the year I graduated? Should I put where I went, my GPA, things like that? So I would use my discretion again. If you graduated a long time ago, many moons ago, then it's okay to leave the date off because you don't want to face age discrimination, even though it's illegal. You know, you don't want to have to even wonder if that's why your resume was not pulled, right? So you want to leave that off, but you can still put what your degree is in. You can still put where you went to school. If you didn't do that well and you don't want to list your GPA, that's completely fine. If you were summa cum laude, then go ahead and plop that on there, because you want people to know that you worked hard, right? So you want to put that on your resume. So again, a lot of the information that you're adding here is going to be at the discretion of what type of job you're applying to, where you are in your career, and what it is that you want people to know about you and what you want people to remember about you, okay? So the next section is going to be your work experience, which is probably the best part of the resume. So it's basically common knowledge that you're going to list your work experience in reverse chronological order, meaning the most current job you have, followed by the least current job that you've had, so the last job you've held, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're holding multiple jobs, then you're going to put the one that you've acquired the most recent first. And if you're still working another one and another one like I am, then you put the one that was the longest and the one that was the longest after that below it. So when it comes to listing them, that's how you want to do that. So you want to, of course, put the job name, you want to put the location, you want to put your actual job title, and then under that is probably the most important part of your work experience. Now, this is where many people go wrong, and this is where they get eaten up by the automation monster. So they don't take the time to actually go in and tailor their job description to what it is that they've actually done and the job that they're applying for. Now, you may feel like, okay, well, my job isn't relevant now to the job that I'm applying for. But I have had so many clients that I've been able to pull information out from their past jobs that are relevant to the job that they're going to. And they were just like, whoa, I didn't even realize that that was a part of, you know, the job that I'm going to. And some skills and some duties are universal, and it just takes you looking at it differently to realize that, you know, it's universal and you can take it with you as a transferable skill or transferable duty. And so with this, I definitely recommend not lying about what you've done. Of course not, because you're going to get called on it either during the interview or in your first 90 days of employment. Okay, so you don't want to tell stories about what you've done, but you do want to tailor what it is that you have accomplished at your past jobs to the job that you're going to, or the type of industry that you're going into. And so when it comes to that, if you don't use certain keywords from the actual job description in your resume, you may get kicked out of an online application system. And so you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. You want to make the short list. You want to be one of the candidates that gets called at the very least, because sometimes the resume just doesn't do you justice. And so you want to be able to have something that's going to speak to a recruiter to say, hey, I can do the job. Let me come in. Let me have a conversation with you so that you can see how valuable I am to your company. And you want to have that level of confidence when you do it, so that you are called back for that second interview, or that fourth or fifth for some of us. You know, those rounds of interviews where they have you come back and forth to make sure that you're a good fit. Getting past the first one is very, very important, but it starts with the resume. It actually starts with the cover letter, but this is not about that. This is about the resume. So that was your 3 steps, your 3 important things that you need to pay attention to on your resume. It's not enough just to list some information and really shortchange yourself on the duties that you've had at your past jobs. Like, you really have to put some type of thought and detail and information into your resume, because this is the tool that you're using to communicate to an employer that you are the right fit for the job. And so every month it comes out that, oh, all these jobs are available, but these jobs are not available for the little guys. These jobs are available for the professionals that not only take their craft seriously, but they take the time to do things that establish themselves as professionals, whether it be acquiring knowledge, keeping up with their industry, whether it be establishing themselves as an expert in their field. All of those things are very, very necessary when you're coming from working at a worker level and you're trying to level up and become talent and really trying to step into your career. And it doesn't matter where you started from. You could be coming from a janitor wanting to hold a professional blue collar level job. It can be done if you go about it the right way. And that's one of the reasons why not only did I write Get Hired, but more importantly, this career planner, because if you don't take the time to figure out where you're going, then you won't be able to get there. So if you want more detail about how to tailor your resume, how to tailor your cover letter, how to network effectively and not just randomly, how to do job searching effectively and not waste your time applying to stuff that won't call you, I would recommend definitely getting Get Hired. You can download chapter 1. If you click the link in my bio, it'll tell you all about self-assessments and bridging your skills gap, where you start from, the whole planning process from beginning to end, starting with the end and then working backwards using your career planner. And so these are all different ways that you can set yourself up for success in your career. So again, this is Alicia Peen, your career coach, and I'll talk to you soon.